continue to hunt and kill afloat assets, including more than 120 vessels and 44 mine layers, and the pressure will continue.
Over 100 Iranian naval vessels may have been destroyed. 44 mine layers could be sitting on the seafloor. 11 submarines, Iran's entire underwater fleet, may no longer exist as a fighting force. And the military ports that once housed them are reportedly burning craters along a coastline that used to be defended. The carrier strike groups made it possible. USS Abraham Lincoln in the Arabian Sea. USS Gerald Ford in the Red Sea. Between them, approximately 88 F-A-18 Super Hornets, dozens of F-35 Sea Lightning I, even enough Tomahawk cruise missiles to reach every Iranian naval vessel, every ammunition depot ever built. The Strait of Hormuz, 21 miles wide, carrying 20% of the world's oil every single day, may now belong entirely to the United States Navy. Iran built this fleet over 40 years. It may have ceased to exist as a fighting force in under 72 hours. The positioning could have been deliberate from the start. USS Abraham Lincoln on Nimitz-class nuclear supercarrier 90 feet long, displacing over 100,000 tons, may have been operating in the Arabian Sea since late January. Her strike group reportedly includes 6 Erlenberg-class destroyers, each carrying 96 VLS cells loaded with Tomahawk cruise missiles and SM-6 interceptors. Combined across the full escort screen, over 500 VLS cells of offensive firepower. The trap Abraham Lincoln pressing from the east. Gerald Ford pushing from the west and south. Every Iranian vessel in the Persian Gulf, the Gulf of Oman, and the Strait of Hormuz could have been caught between two walls of converging firepower with no corridor of escape. The target list may have exceeded 120 individual vessels and port facilities. The strike order could have come down before dawn. On both carriers, the flight decks came alive before first flight. Plane captains could have been walking their aircraft in the dark flashlights, moving over panels and fuel couplings. Ordnance men may have already completed loading. AGM-80 for HSLE MER missiles on the outer wing stations range exceeding 270 kilometers, capable of striking a ship's waterline from beyond visual range. JDAM-guided Mk-84 2,000-pound bombs on the centerline stations for hardened port targets. The first FA-18F Super Hornet rolled onto the catapult track. Pilot pushed both throttles to full afterburner. Combined thrust approximately 44,000 pounds. The next aircraft was already rolling into position before the first jet cleared the deck. On Gerald Ford, IMALS could have been cycling at 45-second intervals. FA-18F after FA-18F launching in rapid succession. Within 40 minutes, over 60 combat aircraft from both carriers may have been airborne simultaneously, forming up in strike packages, descending to medium altitude, heading toward their assigned sectors. Simultaneously, aboard the escort destroyers, VLS hatch covers slid open across multiple ships at once. Tomahawks ejected vertically, boosters igniting, missiles flipping horizontal, dropping to 100 feet above the sea surface. Each one navigating at 885 kilometers per hour toward preloaded Iranian target coordinates, one after another, cell after cell. The barrage may have run for over 15 minutes. The barrage thundered on until the fire mission was complete. Below deck on the carriers, the real work had already begun. Mechanics swarmed over fighters that had just returned from their first sorties, their hands moving with practiced urgency. One by one, aircraft descended to the hangar level on the massive elevators. The moment a jet touched down, maintenance unsteams converged on it like a pit crew. Landing gear struts were inspected and lubricated. Missile rail mechanisms and bomb release assemblies were meticulously greased and tested. Each one had to function flawlessly on the next sortie. Hydraulic lines were raced and checked for leaks. Engine panels were peeled open for rapid inspections. Every issue flagged by the pilot during the mission a warning light, a sluggish control response. An avionics glitch was diagnosed and repaired on the spot. There was no time for delays. On the flight deck above, the arresting gear crew prepared for the next wave of landings. They inspected the steel cables stretched taut across the deck, the wires that would snag the tail hook of an incoming fighter and wrench it to a stop in less than 300 feet. And it had to work every time. Fighters returning from combat approached the carrier from a stern tail hook strapped, riding the glide slope guided by the optical landing system. In the bridge, the air traffic control team logged every landing with clinical precision, exact time of arrival, pilot name, aircraft number, weapons expended, fuel remaining, maintenance issues reported in flight. Every detail was recorded, fed into the next planning cycle. When the surface phase may have concluded, the count could have looked like this. Over 100 Iranian naval vessels sunk or damaged. 40 for mine layers destroyed. 11 submarines gone. Major ports at Ban Arabas, Chabahar, and Bushehr reportedly struck and crippled. An entire class of Iran's most advanced warships may have been fully eliminated. Iran built this navy over 40 years. The Navy may have broken it in under 72 hours. Here is the lesson no navy in the world will forget. A fleet exists to control the sea. When that fleet is gone, every vessel sunk, every port burning, every submarine on the bottom, the sea no longer belongs to you. The Strait of Hormuz, that 21-mile corridor on position, its entire naval doctrine around closing the channel it mined, threatened, rehearsed blocking for decades, may now be patrolled exclusively by the ships that destroyed it. Iran had 11 submarines. A submarine's entire strategic value rests on one thing. It cannot be found. Every single one of them may now be on the bottom. Found, neutralized, gone. The catapults on USS Abraham Lincoln are still cycling tonight. And somewhere in the deep water south of Sri Lanka, a Virginia-class submarine may already be running its next track. Silent, invisible, and waiting. At the rear of the flight deck, Sikorsky's KM-H-60 or Seahawk helicopters are being readied for a constant stream of resupply runs. A supply ship has come alongside the carrier group, carrying food for the sailors and munitions for the aircraft. The Seahawks move back and forth between the supply vessel and the carrier, hauling essential cargo across the formation. Loads of food, drinking water, medical equipment, spare components, and ammunition are strapped into cargo nets and lifted beneath the helicopters. One Seahawk rises into the air as another comes back, creating an unbroken rhythm of deliveries. They make the short trip to the supply ship, hook their loads, then return to the carrier and the destroyers sailing an escort. The rotations continue again and again, keeping every ship stocked and fully operational without interrupting the tempo of the mission. The heat is relentless, but on board the carrier, the cycle never slows and never stops.